picture this scenario. You're riding as a passenger in your friend's car. Both of you are having a great time, cruising around and listening to the radio. Your friend, the driver, reaches to turn up the volume without watching the road ahead. She accidentally crosses the center line and bam! An oncoming vehicle strikes you. You were wearing your seatbelt, as was your friend, and although both of you have some cuts and bruises, you're okay. Now open your eyes. Think of how this scenario could have been different if neither of you were wearing your seatbelt. Good morning. My name is Casey Trutzel, and like most of you, I drive every single day. I've been practicing safe driving skills ever since I've been able to drive. Today, I will be talking with you about one of the most important safety features while riding in or driving a vehicle, and that is wearing your seatbelt. I will begin by giving you some information about the seatbelt as well as its usefulness. Then, I will provide some testimonials of why the seatbelt is such an important safety tool. Hopefully, at the conclusion, all of you will be more inclined to buckle up before hitting the road the next time you drive. Let me begin by discussing some important information about this overlooked safety feature. Motor vehicle crashes are the major cause of disability and death among adolescents and the young population. Wearing a seatbelt is the primary way to reduce injury severity and other outcomes when you are involved in an accident. According to Ibrahim Afifi of the International Journal of Critical Illness and Injury Science, seatbelt restraints are important for occupant safety, which substantially reduces morbidity and mortality in severe motor vehicle crashes. This means that wearing a seatbelt can reduce your risk of illness and death when you are involved in an accident. Studies have also shown that seatbelts reduce severe injuries by 45 to 55%, as well as reduce mortality by 43 to 50%. Now, although seatbelts can cause some injuries when you are involved in an accident, they can prevent many injuries too. Injuries such as trauma to the head, face, abdomen, and long bones can be prevented with the use of your seatbelt. As you can see, wearing a seatbelt can prevent some severe consequences of a crash. Now, let's see what some of the outcomes were for crash victims. There are many cases where a victim was either saved by their seatbelt or suffered more consequences for the lack of not wearing one. A seatbelt can be used to prevent harmful damage and other injuries when you are involved in an accident, but for some, it is just too late. According to police in Waikato, New Zealand, a man who died after crashing his car into a tree may have survived if he had been wearing a seatbelt. If Royal Grayson Beasley would have buckled up before hitting the road that day, he may have been alive to provide his own testimony of the accident. There are also times where a seatbelt has been a lifesaver for some victims. In Coleraine Township, Ohio, a man was saved by the seatbelt he was wearing when he was involved in an accident. Mark Reese, the victim, says, "My guardian angel was with me that time. That's why I always tell people to wear their seatbelt. Even though I was trapped in the car, I couldn't move." Even the news anchor, Brad Underwood, said that the seatbelt could have in fact saved Reese's life that day. Well, I have enjoyed providing you with information about the importance of wearing a seatbelt. I began by describing some of the important facts about seatbelts, as well as the usefulness of wearing one. I also discussed some instances where wearing a seatbelt came in handy for some victims, or could have. In my opinion, buckling your seatbelt is an instinctive necessity that needs to be done before venturing out onto the road. The use of a seatbelt could save you in many different instances. Next time you are driving your car or are a passenger in someone else's car, remember to buckle up and keep yourself safe. Thank you.